Hey everybody, Daryl Maston here for this week's conversation. I remind you week after week after week that there is nothing less important than the score at halftime. I want to encourage you this week, the incredible passage in the Old Testament about a woman whose husband had died, and he was a prophet of God, served under Elisha, and she was left with nothing in that process. And through all of it, she became panicked because they owed money, and the people that they owed money to came collecting, and she had nothing to pay. And one of the solutions for that were the people that she owed money to decided that, well, we'll take your sons as slaves in form of payment. Well, of course, that would panic any mother's heart. And if you're a mom out there, I'm sure you can understand that and feel that passion and that pain. And so she began to cry out to the man of God, Elisha, the prophet of God. And Elisha, just quick on his feet, said, well, how can I help you? And as you spell that out, as you study that out, you're going to find out that word help, or in the King James, I believe, it says, what can I do for you? What that means is, what can we accomplish here in this moment that will set you up for now, as well as set you up for the journey? And so the Bible is full of incredible mysteries like that, and little tidbits of information that are exciting. And in that moment, he shares that with her, and in that moment, she says, well, all I have is a little jar of oil. And she actually preceded that by saying, I don't have anything, but what I do have is a little jar of oil, and gets that jar of oil and shows the prophet of God, and he encourages her to do something that changes her life. He says, go and gather up all the empty jars from all of your neighbors. And her and her sons go and do that. Bring in a bunch of jars. It doesn't say how many she brought in, but she brings in a bunch of jars. And the prophet says, what I want you to do is I want you to pour that little bit of oil that you have in these jars. And as they fill up, put them to the side. And so she begins to, by faith, fill up all of these jars of oil. And that little jar of oil filled up, I'm guessing, dozens and dozens of jars of oil that were empty, that were now filled up with oil. And he says, now take that miracle of God that just took place, take that and go sell that oil, because it was very costly at that time. Go take that oil and sell it and pay your debts now. So pay the person that you owe that money to, and also there's going to be plenty for you to live on after that. And it's just an encouragement that I want to encourage you with as our viewing audience out here on the conversation, is to maybe take that step and trust God. If you're in a pinch, if you're in the corner, if you're feeling the tightness of this life, then step out and express that faith and honor God. And as he gives you instruction, or as you feel impressed in your heart, how do you hear God? As he impresses things in your heart, step out, believe him. And by faith, if he says, well, you might not have much, but what you do have is this, use that and see your miracle happen. If he can do it in this widow's life, he can do it in your life today. I believe that can happen. Let's have a conversation.